Welcome back to SnowRunner. You join us today as we look at the mission Harbour Delivery. Now, we have attempted this mission previously in the vehicle you're seeing in front of you here, the International Transtar 4070A. Now, we previously tried this before we'd explored Drummond Island. We didn't know there were bridges we couldn't cross, but now that it's all done, we're headed to go again. Time for the Transtar to redeem itself, or so I thought. So our first attempt in the International Transtar, we've cut through the logging station that's nearby on Drummond Island. And this corner proved to be a little bit too tight a turn with too much of a drop to one side, and we lose our load. Frustrating, but first attempt, not too concerned. International Transtar wasn't really at fault though, that was more me. Our second attempt, we are still in Iden Lake for this one, taking the corner a little bit too quick, and again the verge was a little bit too much of a drop and we rolled the vehicle. Again, my fault more than the Transtars, but 2 attempts and 2 fails so far. It's not going well for redemption, is it, for the Transtar so far? But we'll go again. So our third attempt, we're on Island Lake and we've just picked up the actual cargo. And you may not recognise this bit in the dark, but this is the wooden bridge you have to cross just after picking up the load. And again, my fault more than the Transtars, but at the same time the Transtar's really not redeeming itself, whether it's me doing it or not. And just, yeah. It didn't go to plan. At this point I had enough. The Transtar's failed, it's not redeemed itself. I thought, okay, we'll change vehicle. The Western Star 6900 twin steer. It's more solid, it's more rigid when it comes to taking corners, should be good. Our first attempt in this vehicle though, didn't quite go to plan. You may recognise where we are on Drummond Island. We've cut through the login station once again. It's the same corner, we had the same issue with the Transtar as well. And again, this corner is quite tight. The verge has got quite a big of a drop off as well. We're trying just to get up here. I suppose the Transtar had a benefit of the trailer would turn, but because of the solid back on the twin steer, there is no give. So it will not turn, and I've got nothing on this left hand side to try and pull me over. So instead, we lose a load. This did give us an advantage though. We could now send the twin steer to the garage and finally upgrade it. There was that benefit. So we're just picking up the load on Island Lake. The drilling equipment is loaded onto the Western Star 6900 twin steer. And after the previous 4 attempts, this one has got to be it, surely. I know the title says redemption for the International Transtar 4070A. That didn't quite happen. I'm a little bit annoyed with myself, but also the vehicle. I'm not taking the full blame, honestly. But I think we're going to give the Western Star another go. Okay, the first attempt wasn't fantastic. This has taken a very long time even to get to here. But I'm adamant and determined to get this done. So, out of all the vehicles we got, I think the Transtar and the Twin Star are the best 2 for this job. It's a heavy load, very, very heavy load. So, I just thought, we've just got to keep going, keep trying, see what happens. We're just going to pass the abandoned International Transtar as we hit the bridge. This is the bridge, obviously, the Transtar fell off because we took it really badly. We have upgraded and sent the Western Star 6900 twin steer to the garage. So we managed to do that because of its first attempt. It landed on its top, back, I don't know how you'd say that, but it landed upside down. So we recovered it to the garage as there's no way of really pulling it over. And that gave us a chance to look at what it has, upgrade where we can, and just go from there. We haven't had a chance to take this to the garage until now. So as we just go apply the diff lock to go up the hill here, this is the one thing I've noticed with the twin steer. Some hills it doesn't have quite enough power compared to the the Transtar to take them little hills when it's got a heavy load. But the diff lock and low gear works really well. So let's talk about what we've done to the vehicle, what it's currently got on it after taking it to the garage. Made a few notes, let's put it that way. So the engine is A16V-2000 engine. I'm not one with engines. I would say it stands for 16 volt 2000. I don't know. If anyone knows engines, let me know what that actually means. I've seen the list of all the different engines and different vehicles, and I can kind of guess what's better than what. But it's not easy. If we can compare it, say to, let's say the International Transtar. The Transtar has a SI-6V-2380 engine. I know there is different. The numbers do mean something. I'm not a massive engine buff. I don't know much about them, to be fair. So yeah, that's the engine, the A16V 2000 engine. I'm guessing it's good. As I say, it does lack a bit of power when you're taking a heavy load up a hill. So if we compare that, as I say, to the Transtar, there's not much difference in what the numbers say. If we go for the last ones, it's 2380 compared to 2000. I would assume that's to do with power. I know there's a power to weight ratio. We'll have a look at that in a second. Anyway, but we've just managed. We're just trying to get some. We are going to refuel here, but there's no fuel left in that tank, which I didn't realise until it was too late. So that's an issue. But hopefully we've got enough fuel on board to get us to the petrol station on Drummond Island, and then we'll all be good. I think we will. I don't think it's going to be too bad on fuel. So the gearbox is the off-road gearbox. It originally had the stock one, but we have already got the upgrade for the off-road gearbox, so that's what we've given it. The suspension is stock. The tyres it did have on, all this time I've been using this vehicle when we first got it as standard, the tyres were all-terrain 55-inch ATHS1s. Pretty good, and kind of explains why it was so good when we first got this vehicle, why it didn't get stuck too often in the mud, and why it was really good. Because I was under the impression everything started with road tyres. Obviously this didn't, and it does explain quite a bit, to be fair. But we've changed the tyres to mud tyres, 55-inch DM HS3s. I just thought all-terrain's okay, mud tyres are better, and we're not going to use it on road too much. It is generally going to be in these areas where mud tyres I think will do better than the all-terrain. It has a stock heavy winch, engageable diff lock, as we've seen. I know I've said previously it doesn't have a diff lock. I don't know why, but it does. I don't know why I kept saying it didn't. That's on me. It currently is rear wheel drive. We don't have the upgrade for all wheel drive, but it can be added once the upgrade is found. Now, I haven't looked where the upgrade is, mainly because I've got no interest in doing so, because we don't travel there just for an upgrade, so we'll leave as is. It cannot have any backs or trailers on the back of it, so this standard back that we've got on it at the minute, that is it. There's no change to that, which isn't a bad thing. Considering it is an all-in-one, I kind of assumed there wouldn't be anything. I know Student Gamer Poo said you won't be able to change anything. It's kind of makes sense that you can't. As a solid back, it's just not interchangeable. But I still think it's going to be good for some heavy loads where you've got things like what we're carrying now, a big container. I think it'll be really good for that still. So pretty happy with it so far. Now, we've got some comparisons to do, but I'm going to wait until we get to... How far are we from Drummond Island now? No, we're still a little way away. I'm just trying to... Have we got time to talk about it before we get there or not? Maybe. I think we'll be okay. So, power to weight ratio, it is an A-, which makes it 5th out of 7. So the 7 vehicles does include our 2 off-road vehicles. I mean the Scouts, essentially. So they are included in the 7, but it is 5th out of 7. The Transtar, in comparison power to weight, the Transtar is an S+, and this is an A-. The reason I'm comparing it to the Transtar so much is the Transtar is kind of its competition in terms of what we'd use it for. That's what I kind of think. At the minute, them two are kind of similar vehicles. We've made it to Drummond Island. I know I've been talking a lot. We've still got to go through a couple of things that we did with the vehicle, but let's plan our route for Drummond Island first. So I want to still cut through the log station. I know we've failed a couple of times with this. I'm thinking if we head to the camp north of the log station and try and come round, so we're not taking such a tight turn. You can see where the last container is. So I'm thinking, yeah, we head up here and we come through the trees. It looks like there is a gap. I don't want to follow the road all the way around. I think that's quite a long route. So to avoid that, I think... sorry about that. I think we can manage it. Also, I've stopped reversing, going right, as you may have seen. And this was mentioned in a previous video where we kept reversing and going right. We've gone forward and we're going to cut through the trees to avoid all that big deep mud when you first get to Drummond Island. Right, back to the Western Star 6900 twin steer as we carry on this journey. Durability is an A. It's got the best durability out of every vehicle we currently own. None of this includes the Pacific P16, by the way, because we haven't taken it to the garage yet, so I haven't actually looked at all its stuff, so it doesn't include the Pacific P16. But durability is an A, and it is the best vehicle for durability we have. The Transtar in comparison is a B+. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with durability. I think it kind of makes sense, the durability is quite high. Fuel consumption is a C+. That means it's 7th out of 7. It is the worst for fuel consumption out of all the vehicles we own. And in comparison, the International Transtar is a B. So, yeah, not fantastic on fuel consumption. I'm not sure if there's anything. I suppose engine change would be the best, I suppose, for that, maybe. That's something we may have to look at some point. It does have a 360 litre tank. And that is the biggest tank out of all the vehicles we have. It's first out of 7 for the tank size, and in comparison, the Transtar has a 265 litre tank for fuel. So a bigger tank by nearly 100 litres. That's big. That is big. Okay, so this is the cut through we want to try and take. This may not be as easy as I thought. I thought we'd easily get through this, but actually there's more trees here than the map looked like. It looked like there was quite a big gap here, but there isn't. We're hitting a tree ahead of us. Can't get the turn enough. And the problem with the twin steer, you've got to get your turn right. Because it's a solid block as a vehicle, this turn has to be perfect. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. It doesn't have any swing ability. So we've got to try and find a gap where we can just get through the trees. And it does look like there's a gap there, as you can see. I just don't want to... This may be have been better going around the long way by the time we get through here, but I'm determined now. It's all because of that little jump up and to the right that we've had issues with previously. The Transtar lost the load there. This twin steer lost the load there as well. I'm trying to avoid that issue a second time round, or a third time essentially. As you can guess, this whole journey so far, including the previous attempts, has taken a very long time. I think we're a couple of hours in currently. It's ridiculous. This should have been done easy in one go. A lot of it's my driving. I'm still blaming the Transtar too, but it is generally my driving that's the problem. Okay, we found the gap. Let's keep slowly doing it here, because we've got some ridges that do make it drop down. We'll try and get up here nice and safely without giving it too much of a lean. The other issue we had where we was going up before was there's no trees to your left to kind of winch to hold your vehicle, so that obviously becomes an issue to try and get yourself uprighted. You can't do it, and you need them on the left as we approach, so that does make that turn really difficult. We got there in the end though. We're a bit stuck in the mud here though. Come on, low range, should be fine. There we go. Mud tyres on. I really enjoy driving this. As I say, power to weight is okay. You can tell the difference between this and the Transtar. There's an immediate difference. While we're passing, this is the load we lost previously, so let us get rid of that while we're here. Not the one we're carrying, please. That would be a massive error. I'd have to do this all again. No, we're good. There we go. So we've got a load. We're going to make it this time, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Okay, petrol stations over there, so we just needed past the vehicles that were there for trailer and Vixen, over the bridges of a bridge, and then we can hit the petrol station. That's the hope of the plan. But we're just going to take this easy. I'm trying to be more careful with the speed, not take corners too quickly, and I'd just be all around a bit more careful, as I say that, and take that a little bit too wide. That's what's caused the issue there. I've taken it too wide, so now we're on this ridge between the dirt road I should call it, and the actual grass bank. So that's where we've got to be a bit more careful there. It is a turning. We've got to take the turn a bit later, I think, as well. Oh, that's a bit dodgy. That is very dodgy. Come on. Ignore the trailer. We can hit that out of the way. I'm not fussed about that. Okay, we're good. I think we're okay. Need a bit more speed, I think, though, to get up the hill next. We've got to cross the bridge and straight uphill. Hopefully, we have enough power to do so. We are still in diff lock on low range. Hoping that's going to keep us going up there, chugging away. I'm not worried about speed at this point. It's just about making up the hills. Plenty of fuel still as well. I wondered how well we'll do for fuel, considering the fuel consumption is the worst out of all the vehicles we have. Actually, we've done okay with fuel. but then the size of the tank does help. So far, low range is definitely helping here in the diff lock. For those who don't know, a diff lock locks all your tyres, or the tyres that are your power tyres. So this is a rear wheel vehicle, so this locks the rear wheels to the same speed as each tyre. If we take it off, the tyres can spin at different rates because of different levels of grip. When you have the diff lock on, they all spin at one rate, whether there's grip or not. It is just that. That's what it does, and that's why generally you use it for hills, because it keeps the momentum in one set amount. I think let's explain as best I can. All-wheel drive, obviously, every wheel has power going to it. Rear-wheel drive, just the rear. Front-wheel drive, just the front. And diff lock affects whatever you've got, whether it's all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. Diff lock will still work the same on all of them. Obviously, full-wheel drive and diff lock together are probably some of the best combinations, because you're obviously locking all four tyres to the same speed. Definitely makes things a lot easier. So we've got a little bit stuck on a rock here, trying to get round it or over it. I can't get the speed to get over it while we've got the diff lock on, but I needed that to get up the hill, but I just can't seem to knock this out the way. So little dodgy reverse there to try and get round it. Need to go a little bit to the right, I think, here. Yeah, and then left turn quick. Can them rear wheels get past it? I think we have done it. Yes. It's the small things that get in your way, and you don't think they're going to be an issue until it's too late, and they are an issue. But we've got past the rock. Of all the things I thought that we'd have trouble with, that wasn't one of them, to be honest. So petrol station is here on our right, so we can take a right turn. Again, taking this wide as much as possible to allow the back end to come round. That's definitely one thing I'm learning with the trailers on a low or high saddle, and even this vehicle, you've got to allow for that turn. I think it's probably harder to do turns with the twin steer because it's a solid base rather than it doesn't move on its own, if you know what I mean. So we're trying to allow for more of a turn there, essentially. But I do think I'm doing better with the turnings. I think it's one thing I've struggled with. This is definitely easier to reverse than other vehicles when you're carrying a trailer. I hate trailers and reversing, but with this it's easier because it's a solid back. So there is definitely benefits to it. So route we're going to take. Obviously we're heading to the port. We've got to get all the way to the big bridge we built, and then across there. We've still got a long way to go. There's not much I'm worried about, to be honest. There's not many real tight turnings. I suppose that drop down there to the bridge could be a bit tricky, but that's about the only thing I think that's really going to come and really test us now. The hard stuff is done. If there's anything else that stops us, I think I'll be surprised by it, mainly because I don't think there is any other issues to have. I think the route we take is absolutely fine. We just follow the dirt road. I don't know if we're going to hit tarmac at all. We've got two bridges to do. The first one is coming up in a minute, and then we've got the big bridge to the port itself. But yeah, as I say, there's nothing that I can see on the map or I can remember from doing the exploring and stuff that I think will cause an issue, bar that last bit where we have to drop down to the bridge. And the only reason I think that's going to be an issue is because it's quite a tight kind of manoeuvre. And as we've got a solid body, there's no room for twisting and turning. So I think we could have an issue there. But we won't know till we're there and we give it a go. But we're trucking along okay. I think, you know, the upgrades we've done to the vehicle, I think, have definitely benefited. The tyre change has definitely helped. It's a good vehicle. It does lack power. Again, I think a bit of mud here catching us out. Quick bit of low range and diff lock, and we're trucking away once again. It's a simple solve when we do have them issues. So first of the two bridges now, we can cross this one, make sure we're straight on it. Last thing I want now is to tip over the edge here. That would be horrendously bad. So low range, ready for this hill climb. I just think it's easier with this vehicle to do it in advance. I haven't really had to do it on a lot of the other vehicles for hills. Generally they're all okay. But I think this is the lack of engine power we've seen between this and the Transtar. Hills with heavy loads are an issue. But if we're already prepared, and the reason I think it's better to prepare in advance, you hit a hill at normal speed, get halfway up, and then you come to a near enough dead halt because you haven't got the power to get up anymore. You then change to low range and diff lock. You're starting from nothing. Whereas if you hit the hill, slower speed because you're in low range, but diff lock already on, you've got more momentum in my eyes that you're going to keep going all the way up. It may be slow, but you're going to keep going. And I think it's all about the momentum when you hit the hill. think that, in my mind, you know, I could be completely wrong in what I'm saying, but in my eyes and the way it's working for me so far, that's the way I do it. It makes the most sense to me, and it works as far as I can tell. But so far so good with the twin steer. I'm annoyed, like I say, I'm annoyed the Transtar didn't make it. The Transtar will still be used for other missions. I'm sure it will come good in the end. I really want it to redeem itself. I'm just annoyed. But yeah, it's one of those things. I'm sure we'll have plenty more jobs for the Transtar in time to come. We've got to use the P16 yet as well, and at some point we'll take to the garage when we need to take it. I don't want to go there early, same as we didn't take this twin steer too early. We wait till there was a reason to go to the garage, as our closest garage is Smithfield Dam. And yeah, getting there was fine. Once we'd gone upside down, it made sense to recover. It gave us a chance to look at what we had and what we need to change on the vehicle, like the tyres, the better engine, the stock engine. I can't remember what the stock engine was, but we did put the better engine in. I think there are still more engine upgrades to do though. Whether they're upgrades or under what we put on, I'm not sure. I need to check that actually, because there may be a case that this is the max power this vehicle is going to have based on engine, if we've already given it the best engine it can have. So that's something to look at, to be fair. I completely forgot. I should have checked when we was in the garage, but I didn't. But we're doing okay. A tight turn here with the trees. We've had a bit of issue with mud, but low range has worked. We're still in low range and diff lock on as well. The mud here is causing a little bit of an issue, more than I expected, to be fair. Again, tight turns like this are tricky, mainly because we can't swing. So the back end is, because it's a solid block, there is no swinging around. You can't, you know, swing the back end out to get round corners. But we're okay. We didn't do too badly there. It's one of those. I'm still worried about the end point with the downward toward the bridge. That hasn't given me much hope with how that was acting just then. But we're about to hit proper road now. We're heading right here at the junction. Just double checking myself. Don't want to go the wrong way and have to turn around. So we're about to hit proper road. They're off the dirt track for probably the first time in a while, to be fair. And mud tyres on road are obviously not very good. So all you've got to do with this is be a bit careful on corners, because you can skid. That is the downside, I suppose. I'm sure the map showed proper road. Maybe it didn't. I thought it did. I swear it did. But it doesn't matter. We're on the mud track. It's fine. Obviously, as I say, mud tyres aren't very good on normal roads, so it's probably not a bad thing. This is still a mud road, to be fair. I much prefer that to the normal road because of the tyres we have on more than anything else. But still going strong. Again, low range diff lock working well, especially on these little hilly parts. It's working pretty well. Okay, this I think is the start of the bit I'm worried about. Yeah, this is our downward decline towards the bridge. This is where I'm a little bit concerned. Obviously, we've got a barrier on one side with the big drop, rock on the other side, and it's a tight turn that I'm worried about. I don't know if it's this one or the one later, but this is my issue. Oh, actually, it was that one I was worried about, and that wasn't too bad. Look at that, we're just getting around it now. Wow, okay. I really thought that was going to be more of an issue. That wasn't an issue at all. I'm pretty happy with that, to be fair. I was really worried. I just thought that turn would be too tight, but actually, absolutely fine in the end. So we're on the homeward straight now. We're going to cross the bridge onto the island where the port is. Nice little bridge we built. Say little, big bridge. Several journeys to get this bridge done. Okay, we're on the homeward stretch. If we make a mistake now and turn this over and lose the load, I'm going to be extremely annoyed. But hopefully that won't happen. So we've just got a couple of twists and turns. Low range diff lock back on once again as we're going uphill here. The road itself isn't fantastic. It's not massively wet, but just in case, just got to make sure we've got the traction on the rear wheels to keep us going. And I think low range diff lock does that superbly. I know a lot of people don't like diff lock on low range, mainly because it's slow. You do are a lot slower than you are normally. But I'm all about getting there at some point rather than getting there quick, in my mind. Right, we're just going to keep following this road round. It's just I've seen a road on our right. Okay, so the road on our right is the shortcut that takes you back to the other bit of the island. You don't need to take the bridge. But it looks like on the map a very thin, small track. I've not used it, I don't believe. And I don't plan to, unless we have to look for a missing upgrade or something. Mainly because it does look like a tricky track to try and use, and this definitely wouldn't make it that way. I don't think. We're not in low range anymore, but although we can't go quick, these corners are still a bit of an issue. We are nearly there. Ever so close now. It's one of those things, when you've failed a mission a few times, you do get frustrated. It's so easy to get frustrated. But then when you finally know you've done it, that elation, that sense of accomplishment, especially in this game, more than a lot of others, I find is amazing. You know, you really do feel good about yourself for doing it. And like I say, especially when it's gone wrong a couple of times. And it's nice that we can share that by doing this series. You know, I know we've done a stupid amount of episodes so far, and we're still only on the first big area. This will be episode, what, 56? Which is incredible. I'd like to think we'd finish Michigan before episode 100. That's my plan, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But with so many DLCs and other maps to do, there's going to be a lot from the SnowRunner series going forward. But as long as you guys are enjoying it, I'm enjoying doing it as well, which is the important thing in my eyes. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the episodes. This gives me a chance to say, if you are enjoying this series or any content on the channel, a like on the episodes massively goes a long way for the channel itself. But a subscribe and ring the bell to not miss an upload is massive, and a massive thank you to you guys that have subscribed, that have liked the videos in the series so far. It is very, very much appreciated. We are at the port. We are here. We can now drop this off. The drilling equipment can be gone. They can ship it out. It's a big trailer to the left that I'm ignoring. Okay, we're here. Let's drop it off. There we go. Contract complete. Harbour delivery is done. It took several attempts. It took 2 different vehicles. But finally, we've managed it. A massive thank you guys for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. As I say, if you did, a like does go a long way. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back next time with more SnowRunner. Until then, thank you.